Welcome back to Corporate Telecast UZEX News on UzReport TV channel. And today in our edition you can get acquainted with the exchange news and quotations and also with the situation at the exchange market of non-ferrous metals. In the beginning of our program, we traditionally offer your attention the results of auctions on all UZEX trade platforms and also the price dynamics for top trading positions. These were the main indicators of UZEX for last week. Now we'll stay more with the latest exchange news. Due to the resolution of the Cabinet Ministers of the Republic of Uzbekistan number 350 of July 4, 2020, in order to increase the efficiency of auto numbers implementation via online auctions of UZEX, a number of changes have been made to a procedure of auto numbers implementation. According to a new method, the category of auto numbers implemented through the online auctions of the exchange has been expanded. So if previously 3 categories of auto numbers were implemented, now its quantity rose to 6. Secondly, the cost of some auto numbers of Tashkent city has been reduced. For example, the cost of auto numbers with the same letter combinations decreased from 50 BEV basic estimate value to 40 BEV, relatively with various combinations from 40 BEV to 30 BEV. Thirdly, some number combinations have been moved to lower categories, which price is relatively lower. Generally, the quantity of implemented auto numbers has been increased after these changes, in average for 2.5 times, and the quantity of their buyers for 3.3 times in average. The rules of participation in online auctions by auto numbers have not been changed. Second news is related with the launch of a new service of Uzbek Commodity Exchange by electronic workflow xdoc.uzex. The new service is the third major project implemented by the exchange in 2020 in the year of development of science, education and digital economy. The service of the exchange on electronic invoice can be freely used not only by participants of the exchange auctions but also by other enterprises and organizations. It allows signing, sending and receiving the documents having a legal power for 5 minutes using an electronic digital sign. The system of the electronic workflow of UZEX saves the time and money of the users, reduces probability of making mistakes in paperwork and increases the efficiency of business processes. Further on, we move to analyze the market of non-ferrous metals starting from the months of January to June of 2020. Sales volume of the local exchange market of non-ferrous metals exceeded 30,000 tons starting this year. It is 28% higher than the same analogical period of 2019. In the reporting period, as indeed and over the last years in a segment of non-ferrous metals, the lion's share of the market traditionally took the sales with cathode copper and cathode rolled wire. But we have the absolute leader here, and definitely this is cathode copper, which goes with a 74% in the segment of non-ferrous metals, as we can see on the diagram. The second position here is taken by cathode rolled wire, which goes with 9%. Third top leadership position here is taken by zinc, which goes with 9%, as we can see on the screen, and aluminium goes with 6% at the UZEX platform. And further on, we'll consider the situation in the copper cathode market, and the copper market of all brands in the local exchange market shows a multi-directional dynamics on the basis of demand and offer, and also the trends of the world markets. So from the months of January to March, the prices for copper dropped from 58 million sums per ton, as we can see on the diagram, down to its minimum position 49.6 million sums per ton, as we can see on the diagram. It is an intermediate minimum of the current year. A growing dynamics formed in the market from the months of April, as we can see on the screen, as a result of which the prices rose for 14% up to its almost the maximum price position 57.7 million sums per ton at the UZEX exchange trade platform in the months of June, which is definitely due to the active position of the factory producers and their systematical performing non-ferrous metals at the UZEX exchange trade platform, especially in the segment of copper. So let's go to the next diagram for today, and this is going to be the world price dynamics for copper. The same dynamics has been traced in the copper market, as we can see on the diagram. The only difference is that the price reduce in the world copper markets lasted till the months of April. So the prices for copper in London Metal Exchange declined from 6,176 down to its minimum price position $5,079 a ton. It is due to low demand on the background of coronavirus pandemic. The next months, due to the resumption of economic growth of the large countries of the copper users, future price began to rise and accounted $5,681 a ton, as we can see on the diagram. Let's see the situation with the aluminium alloys market. So price volatility has been traced here as well, as we can see on the screen. The prices for aluminium accounted about 14 million sums per ton in the beginning of the year, and in the months of April, as we can see in the beginning of the year, in the months of January, it is almost 14 million sums per ton, and afterwards in the months of April it declined to its minimum price position, as we can see 10.6 million sums per ton, which is due to a noticeable demand reduction. And some kind of stability and normality we could observe up to the months of March at the same price 10.6, and first of all due to the active position of the factory producers and their systematical performing exactly these kind of aluminium alloys at the UZEX exchange trade platform. The revival of the auctions began from the months of May, as we can see on the screen, and as a result the latest quotations in the months of June have been fixed at level of 15.6 million sums per ton, which was the maximum from the beginning of 2020, especially from the months of January of 2020. A demand recovery in the world market of aluminium comes to the months of June, almost the same identical situation we can observe over here in the segment of aluminium alloys. Prior to these, the prices for aluminium in London Metal Exchange dropped to 17% from $1,804 a ton up to its almost minimum price position $1,487 a ton. And in the months of June, as previously stated, the prices began to recover and accounted almost $1,591 a ton, as we can see on the screen. Insignificant changes were occurred in the regional structure, and as we can see, the absolute leadership position on the consumption of copper at the UZEX exchange trade platform still remains with the metropolitan area, which goes with an absolute leadership percentage in the market, with 76% sales comes to its share, as we can see on the screen. The next position is taken by Andijan, which goes with 14.1% on the consumption level, and the third position here is taken by Navoi region, which goes with 5.7% on the consumption level. So these were all comments for today. Thank you for watching us and being with us. Do join us next week at UzReport TV channel, or surely with our website at www.uzex.uz. See you next week. Bye.